You're listening to the SPK and Associates podcast.
Hi, this is Chris McHale. I'm co-founder and COO of SPK and Associates, which is a technology services company dedicated to accelerating product development in manufacturing companies. I'm here with Oleg Shilovitsky, who is a well-known blogger on product lifecycle management topics for over the last 5 years. Oleg and I are presently producing a podcast once a month where we dive deeper into one of his key topics from his recent blogging posts. So Oleg, would you take a moment to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Oleg Shilovitsky. I'm consulting on PLM, and I'm also blogging about different topics related to PLM on my blog, beyondplm.com.
Okay, great. So on our last session, Oleg, you and I talked about the challenging topic of BOM management. It's kind of a simplistic term for what it actually is, but we started talking about the challenges of managing a bill of materials, or BOM. We focused first on across sort of engineering disciplines, so managing a BOM across the engineering disciplines of mechanical, EE, and even software. And this week, or at this session, what we'd like to do is switch gears a little bit and talk about the management of the BOM across the enterprise or the life cycle of the product, starting with engineering, moving over into manufacturing, and then also into service support or maintenance of the product, which is getting more and more attention these days. So since that's the overall topic, I thought we would actually start. I'd like to ask you for your definitions of, first of all, what is a BOM, but more particularly, what is an engineering BOM, say, versus a manufacturing BOM, since people often use those terms, and versus perhaps what the BOM must look like for the maintenance or service part of the product life cycle. So could you just give us your overview of that? That would be very helpful.
Sure, of course. Again, it's clear to everybody that bill of material is the centerpiece of everything which is going in the product development, manufacturing, and later on with the product support and services. And you can hear very often that people are using different terms to call different bill of materials. And there is really no certain standard names for every bill of material, and you can find all different type of names that people are used, from E-BOM, M-BOM, X-BOM, A-BOM, P-BOM, whatever you want. What is, in my view, important to distinguish is two main groups of bill of materials. And one is the information that you maintain in the engineering, in the development. And this is normally the information that you have from your design environment and information that's related to different aspects of engineering. We've been talking last time about different domains like mechanical, electric, electronic, software. So you can think about all of them together. And they combine engineering bill of material, and also they might include some elements that are not necessarily presented in the design system, but all together they will represent the engineering bill of material for the product. On the other side, as you go to produce a product, to manufacture products, you can often see a different perspective on the product, and this is manufacturing bill of material, which might be also different, depends on the way you manufacture and depends on the way you do production. But that would be a view on the product structure and a view on the bill of material as it goes with your manufacturing systems.
Would you give us a quick example, if it's possible, just for those who are learning about this? What's an example of a difference you might see between an engineering or design BOM versus what you would see in a manufacturing BOM?
Sure. The simplest example is the bill of material in engineering. You can think about this product structure coming from a CAD system, which will add some particular non-geometrical parts to this bill of material. Like you can see the assembly combined together with some information about data that is not on the assembly. Like you can think about glue, you can think about some fixtures, and in addition to that, you can add to this some electronic parts. So altogether, you can get it as an engineering bill of material. What is important that these elements, these parts, together mostly driven by the way product is designed. Like if you have an assembly part structure, this bill of material will be driven by assembly part structure. So that's more engineering view on what is the product. So you will see the product is combined of assemblies, sub-assemblies, parts, some other, like if you've been talking about electronics, so it can be some mechanical parts of assembly, it can be electronic boards. So it will be combined as the product is actually assembled by design. On the other side, if you go to manufacturing, this bill of material is mostly reflecting the way product will be manufactured, and it's related to the your manufacturing assembly lines. It's related to the structure will be actually different because the structure will reflect the way product is assembled, and it will still represent the same product, but it's one will be view of engineers working on this product and designing this product. And another view will be related to the people on the shop floor that are working on the assembly and combining these parts together to make the actual physical product.
Okay, that's actually very helpful. And then if you continue down the path you're going, once that product is manufactured and released and out the door, what sort of bill of materials or product definition would be required by the people out in the field who have to maintain or support the product?
Yeah, that's another great question, I think, because depends on the industry, depends on the product. You might see different bill of materials outside. Let me give you a simple example. Like for the product that will be manufactured with a particular serial number, you will have to keep what's so-called serial number BOM for a particular product, of particular instance of the product. If you can think about aircraft, this usually manufactured with the serial numbers, and you are able to track all product configuration for a particular aircraft with the serial numbers and all information that belong in this particular serial numbers. For different type of manufacturing that manufactures in large volumes, this is an example, you will be able to see something different, which would be called lot numbers, and it will reflect batches of manufacturing. So these are a little bit different ways to represent what called as build bill of material. What is important to understand that this as build bill of material will reflect how actually product is built and how actually this product was shipped by the manufacturer. You can ask me what's the difference between as manufacturing and as build. And this is actually would be very good to differentiate between them because the differentiation will reflect, for example, parts that will go in the product because of actual production situation. Like you can go to alternate parts and you can go to some substitutes because of some manufacturing situation.
So in a way, the BOM or the as-built BOM that the service or field needs, first of all, it's kind of keyed in on a view of a serial number or a sequence of serial numbers, right? But then besides it provides that person, that technician with all the parts that were put into that particular product and alternative parts that might be used for repair, for example? Is that sort of thing?
Yes, that's a very good example. So basically, when you will have product sheet for service for the service purposes, manufacturer will have to release information about maintenance. And this bill of material in maintenance is a little bit different representation of the same product. Not all information that is going in the as-built bill of material or manufacturing bill of material is going over there to the maintenance bill of material, because typically a manufacturer will release only information that is relevant for technicians and relevant for maintenance people. So that's another view to look on this and differentiate between as built and as maintained bill of material.
Okay, that's actually very helpful. I think that will actually help our audience distinguish between these various views of the bill of material. So now the $64,000 question, as they say, is what system or set of systems or how does a manufacturing enterprise actually manage this bill of materials from design all the way over into service? Is there one system from your perspective that can or should do that? Or is this something that should be managed by different systems depending on the area of the business? And is there a good way of finding an integration between those? Is there a good way of doing this at present, or is this something that we're going to be seeing more in the future?
Oh, of course, this is a simple answer, Excel. Oh, just kidding, sorry.
Right, it's the answer for everything.
Yes, that's actually a really good question, because you can look on this not from the perspective of the product, but you can look on this from the perspective of the organization. And this
that's
is where
right. Yeah.
that's where complexity starts. Because you remember we've been talking about engineering, development, manufacturing, support, sales, maintenance, and all these different domains. It's actually different departments. Now, this is where complexity starts, because the departments in the large manufacturing companies are separate. So they have their own rules, they manage information, and they very often use their own systems. So historically, these departments will be running different software, like obviously.
And they actually have, as you pointed out, they actually have very different needs.
Yes, and they have different needs because they have different priorities and different pains to solve. Like it comes from the inventory management and the manufacturing, and it started way time ago with the MRP systems. Mm-hmm. And obviously, it started with the design system and the engineering and different design systems. So historically, they have a lot of different software. They have a lot of different silos. So these are, and then different manufacturing type of manufacturing put their own requirements. Like if you have mass production system, it will be one type of requirements and one type of manufacturing needs. But if you will go to engineering to order or build to order, you might have different requirements and different ways to interconnect between those systems. So this is a really complex question about how to manage it all together. And it's usually done by multiple systems for large manufacturing companies with additional services that integrate these silos together. And essentially, they do a lot of synchronizations between bill of material in order to bring this information in consistent form.
And so finally, Oleg, as a kind of a final note to all of this, with some of the smaller companies that are growing up these days and in situations where they're outsourcing a fair amount of their, whether it's manufacturing or even perhaps post-release service and support, where they're not huge manufacturing enterprises, but they're smaller, but they still have the same needs. Are there good answers for those companies today, or are they are they more or less gluing together a lot of point tools in order to achieve the same result?
I think for smaller companies, the situation is not different from large companies because of the same problem that we discussed the last time about complexity of products. So smaller companies, they have essentially also complex products that are coming with the complicated bill of material requirements. So for them, it's sometimes even more complicated because they need to maintain bill of material and maintain coordination between different companies, like contract manufacturing companies and some suppliers. So where the large manufacturing company can rule the way they work between departments and processes and managing of bill of material, for a smaller company, it actually, an additional level of complexity is the coordination between different companies, which can make it even more complex.
Right. So in a way, they have it. They possibly might have it even harder, although they tend to be more flexible and agile in terms of how they can change processes and move. But they don't have the same tools at their disposal, if you will. Is that the case?
Yeah, that's exactly the case.
Well, thanks very much, Oleg. We really appreciate your time today and sharing with us some of your wisdom and background and experience in this area. And we look forward to our next session.
Okay, thank you very much, you, and look forward to the next podcast. Thank you.
You're listening to the SPK and Associates podcast.